get things done. I will have some fun.
A raucous and ribald, over-the-top political satire.
It's campy. It's just funny.
It's a story about Bill Clinton's 2 terms as president, but with 2 Bill Clintons instead of 1.
This show is about comedy, sex, and heart. It's something you can bring your husband to. There are a lot of musicals that you cannot say that about.
I read Bill Clinton's autobiography. He talked about how he felt like he'd led 2 parallel lives, and all these other people in their biographies about Clinton had talked about these kind of 2 different sides in him, and they even had little nicknames for him like Saturday Night Bill and Sunday Morning President. So it seemed like a fun way to tell the story, and a story that everyone knows in a way that they don't know.
And all the actual events that happened, but it's hilarious because we're telling them truthfully and you can't actually believe it.
You only care for character, and boy am I a character.
But I think now we can sort of look back and laugh at ourselves a little bit and laugh at the period.
And people say, why would you make a musical about that? It's like one of the greatest stories in American politics ever. Why wouldn't you make a musical out of it?
It wasn't that long ago, but at the same time, it was. You're like, oh my gosh, that was almost 20 years ago.
Dance, I can single-handedly take down a president.
There have been a lot of guys I've dated.
I think my favorite song has to be Monica's song.
There's one song in particular that the lyric is such that the people go home and they're like, I don't know, I can't believe I'm singing this song on the way home, but it's so catchy.
I'm fucking the fucking president. Oh yeah, boom boom. Oh yeah, I'm fucking the fucking president. Oh yeah.
You know, yes, we're making jokes, and yes, it's a comedy. We're really finding the heart in the story, which is great.
It's amazing to me to have a show called Clinton and have people on both sides politically walking out going, that's hysterical.
And just laugh at how ridiculous the 1990s were, that the whole world was obsessed with a blowjob. And it's not surprising, it's a musical.
No, the great thing about their music is that it reflects the 90s where we take place, but it is also standard Broadway. It's great.
As much fun as it is to watch, I gotta say it's even more fun to perform.
As a cast, it is tremendously talented. There's not a person in the show who doesn't have a spotlight moment in the show, and one that they take supreme advantage of.
What could go wrong? The thing that is so damn tough is I still love you, Bill. But is that enough?
I love Enough because that humanizes Hillary. That's the one serious moment in the show, and people who have come have said that you know, it's like this really campy, spoofy show, but then with Enough, that is really the one part of the show that you really feel for Hillary. You see what she has gone through, and you kind of can see why she stayed or why she made the choices that she made. It's my like rock out moment where I'm, you know, like channeling my inner Celine Dion.
I never want to kind of push an answer onto people or a message. I think more I just want to like ask questions and make people think about their own lives and how we judge politicians.
I have had enough. I've made up my mind. Enough is
there's like Hanson, and like there's a little bit of the kind of ska swing thing that happened.
So it's a real throwback to like synthesizers and just, you know, that sort of bubblegum pop of the 90s.
Britney Spears and Spice Girls.
Some wailing and some gospels.
A lot of great retro sounds in this show. It feels nostalgic.
I'm fucking the fucking speaker. Oh yeah.
Oh no! Oh yeah!
I'm fucking the fucking speaker. Oh yeah.
Oh no! Oh yeah! You idiot! Leave him alone! I won't let you call me dumb and fat. I'm with him now. What you think of that?
It's a retelling of this story in a fantastically hilarious, original way.
What you say, Roseanne Barr? You can't stop me! Satires!
A story about a guy who messes up and then has to redeem himself, and it is like very touching in that sense.
For